All right, so looking at this graph here, we've got a rocket that goes up in the air and comes back down. You want to be aware of what your units are. So I usually circle them. We have feet for our distance and seconds for our time. So just circle or underline those so that you remember them. You have to put them in your answer. Can you check that up for me? You'll make it, I promise. What is the initial height? Well, you have to know what the word initial means. So what is initial? First, like starting, all right? So what is the initial height of the rocket? Good, do you see how right there? It starts at 108 feet. You don't even have to do any work. You just have to be able to interpret the picture. But do you see where I'm pointing and that that's initial? All right. What is the maximum height? Well, what does maximum mean? The most, like the highest, right? Okay, so what is the maximum height? It's one of the numbers that's on there. 144 feet. Right there. Again, there's no work. You just have to read the question, understand what it's asking you, and then pick the correct number. All right, when, so this is a time question, when does the rocket reach that maximum height? 1.5. Perfect. 1.5 seconds. This is really easy. I really like this topic. All right, when, so again, a time question, when does the rocket hit the ground? Right there, 4.5 seconds. Don't think too much about it, okay? Math word problems are always silly. All right, so these are not straight lines. They're not linear anymore. They are called quadratics. This is your quadratic equation. Y equals, do you remember y equals mx plus b for a line? Oh, you're just going to learn a new format. It looks like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c. You've actually already done these. Pythagorean theorem. That's for triangles. No, it's not. It's totally different. You actually did this when we did the factoring. Do you remember your X box thing? When you had a squared and then just an X and then a number. Do you remember that? We did X box. Put the numbers in. I know it was a week ago, but it happened. Okay. So anyway, that's your quadratic function. You have this A, B, and C in there that are going to be numbers. So these graphs, they're not lines. They are called parabolas. P-A-R-A-B-O-L-A. Parabolas. That's what that U shape is called. Yeah, the U shape is called a parabola. It sounds like a disease or something. Not. All right. These graphs can open upwards or they can open downwards. Okay, so up means that A is positive. A is whatever number is in front of the x squared. Usually it's first, but sometimes it's not. This could be written in a jumbled up order. So remember, A goes with the x squared part. If A is positive, it's going to open upwards, which would be like that, like a smiley face. Down, which is like the ones that we looked at up there, like the rocket that goes up and comes down, like it's facing upside down. That would be if A is negative. Gonna do this like a frowny face. Positive up, negative down. Make sense? You just have to look at the correct number. It's whatever number is in front of the x squared. Again, usually it's first, but it could be all jumbled up. So just be careful. All right, let's apply that to the next thing and see if you can figure out if they open up or down. So looking at this one, what does A equal? What's the number in front of the x squared is all that is. 4. Is 4 positive or negative? Positive, so it's going to open up. That's all that there is to it. In this one, what does A equal? Now, this one's jumbled up. It's the number in front of the x squared. -2. Good. Do you see how it's written the other way around? You have to look for the x squared part. So since that's negative, it would open down. So be facing downwards. For these, you're going to use the picture to answer the questions. I'm going to do the first one, and then I'm going to pause the video and let you guys try the second one, all right? So looking at this guy right here, opens up or down? What do you think? Up. It's facing upwards, like a smiley face. That's all there is to that. Now the vertex, that's a new piece of vocabulary, or have you heard that before, the word vertex? Okay. That is the center point. It's like the maximum or the minimum. In other words, this point right here. Do you see that one? So it's 2, -1. Good. We went 2 for the x direction, -1 for the y direction. So 2, -1. Now you've done intercepts before. Y-intercept is where it touches the y-axis. Look where I'm pointing. I don't have a better explanation than look, it's this point right here. So what is that point?
3, 0.
Well, it's 0, 3, comma 3. I know, it's one is one way and one is the other. Now they're good. There's two x-intercepts, and sometimes you could have two, sometimes you could just have one, or sometimes there might not be one at all, right? So x-intercepts, it's this point right here and this point right here. So what's the first one? 1, 0 and 3, 0. Perfect. Yes, good job. Domain and range. Domain is X, range is Y. Now look, watch me point to this. I know there's not arrows on the ends, but you guys get that this is going to keep on going, right? And I know it looks like it's pointing upwards, but you get that it's going to go left and right forever. Like it's going to go off the page and like out like forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So your domain is all reals. The way that we write that is X, because domain is X, this little sideways E, and then the capital R for reals. We did that earlier in the year, but it was a long time ago. Does that ring any bells? Do you remember that? It's a little R. Okay. R means reals. It means everything. It goes left and right forever. Listen, kiddos, that's the answer for domain. They will all be all reals. That is the answer. You will get that one right. Listen to me, right? Range is Y. Now that's not going to be all reals because the graph either faces up or faces down. So which way is this one facing? Up. So you want everything above this Y number. Do you see how it cuts off right there? You want everything above that. So we want to stay above what number? Good. So it is going to be Y is greater than or equal to -1. If it was facing downwards, you would say less than or equal to, and then whatever number it gets cut off. I know, right? So what did you put for this one? Down? Good. Vertex is this point. So it's something, comma, something. Yeah, it's 1 for X and then 4 for Y. So 1, comma 4. Flip yours around. I know. Flip it around. It was the right numbers, so that's good. All right, Y-intercept is this point right here. Again, I don't have a better explanation than look, I'm pointing at it. So what point is that? 0, 3. XY. I'm trying to think of a way to work on that. All right, X-intercepts. You got 2 of them. What's this first one? Yeah, good, perfect. And 3, 0. Nice. Domain is all reals. It's going to go left and right forever. I know it looks like this is pointing down, but it's going to like keep on going left and right forever and ever and ever off the paper and down the hall. All right. Good. Y is less than or equal to. And then what's the cutoff point? Like where did this get cut off here? Yeah, good. 4.
4.
Yeah, do you see where I drew the line there? I'll usually draw a line to show like where it gets cut off. Do you see how the height is 4 there?
You know how like when the question asks like what is the range, and you do like the second number.
Yes, it's the Y number. Yes. So it's just like that. Like that's a good point here. Look, do you guys see on your vertex how 4 is the Y number? Like that's the number you want to use for your range because that range is Y. So do you see how those match? And it does over here too. See how this is -1 and that's a -1? Does that help? All right. So now we're going to draw some of these. Sketch the quadratic with the following characteristics. So x-intercepts 0, 0. Where's that? Yeah, in the middle. That's the origin. And then 4, 0. So you want those to be your x-intercepts. So I just put a point there and a point there. And we want it to open up. So all you have to do is draw a smiley face that goes through those 2 points. It wasn't specific about any of the other points. So the rest of it's like, good enough. Like you're just doing a quick sketch. It's not perfect or anything. All right, this one we're going to do -3, 0. So that's right here. And 1, 0. And again, I'm sorry, I don't have a better explanation than, hey, look, that's where they go. Like that's -3, 0, and that's 1, 0. And then it says this one needs to open down. So just draw a parabola facing downwards through those 2. And then this one only has 1 x-intercept. That can happen too. So at 1, 0, And that's going to be the only x-intercept. And we want it to open down. So you have to draw a U shape, but it can't go through the x-axis anywhere else. So it's going to look like that. So typically you're going to have two x-intercepts. That's like the most common thing, but it can just be one, or you could have none at all, no x-intercepts. So there's two different ways that that can happen. It can either face up or face down. So this is what it would look like with no x-intercepts if it's facing up. See how I just made it floating like it doesn't touch? So you can have two, you can have one, or you could have none at all. And then the other way that can happen is if it's facing downwards and just doesn't go through the x-axis.